Hey everyone, we're doing another episode where we're going to do a mind map to give some content ideas for an industry. Today we're focusing on personal training. We just did a podcast with a gym who has got a bunch of trainers, and it sparked the idea of, what kind of content would a personal trainer put out on their channels for their brand to, bring people into the gym, but also, bring clients directly into them. So we're going to use the same format as we did for the real estate one. And we're going to take the four categories that we used last time: the FAQ, the tools and resources, hacks and tips, and what you know about. Again, these are like really top level, open-ended kind of ideas. We just wanted to help you get your mind flowing around some thoughts, some ideas. The what you know about one obviously is super catered to, each person. Everyone, someone who's good at skateboarding is different than a guy who's really great at making coffee. So those are going to be sometimes, things that you know about as a human rather than about your industry to kind of build personal brand. But we'll tackle some ones that are in the industry specifically, and then you can take whatever you like out of that. So some of the ideas we came up with for the FAQ side is things like, how does the membership work? So a lot of people, again, the FAQ is the stuff that, you get questions from on your website, the questions that you get on social media, questions that your friends and family or people on the street ask you about, the industry that you're in. And so those are really good pieces of content to put out because it's stuff that people are asking anyway, so might as well get out ahead of it. So how does the membership work? So oftentimes, depending on how your training situation is set up, if you're part of a gym or if you've got a private gym, what is the commitment? What does the commitment look like? What kind of access to the facilities do you get, right? Is if you're signing up with you, do you get access to all the gym and the pool and everything, or just access to you, or just in there while you're training and stuff? So being clear about what the person actually gets with their membership and what that commitment looks like. Things like, how do I stay motivated, right? A lot of people struggle with that, and it's probably something that you probably get asked all the time as a trainer. How do I stay motivated? Why do you do this, right? So that could be people that want the inside track on like what motivates you to be involved in this industry. Why, why are you into it? Why does it excite you? Right? It's kind of an interview, right? Personal training is a really personal thing. I just started training with someone a couple weeks ago, and like we connected really well from a personality standpoint, and it really helped ease me into it because I had never done it before. So, why do you do this? Things about you and things about why you got into the space. How to find a trainer, right? Kind of the same idea as the other question, but a lot of people just show up to a gym and they have no idea what they should be looking for. Should you be matching personalities? Should you be asking them about their history or their expertise, or have they worked with people like you? That kind of stuff. What is an assessment? That could be stuff like, what are you going to get out of it? What are you looking for in the assessment from the client side? Like, what should I be paying attention to with my trainer? About, what questions do they ask me? Were they pushy or super salesy, or were they trying to lock me into something? But I think, I've done assessments with maybe 3 other people, and every time I felt like pressured and uncomfortable, and I never even considered signing with them until I met this more recent guy. So I think answering some questions about that is always good. Let's leave the FAQ there. So tools and resources. You can have things like Food Guide Canada. People are curious because nutrition is usually going to be a big part of that. Favorite Instagram to follow, right? People are always looking for like motivation and looking for people to follow and pay attention to. Especially, I know for me, like I'm not super motivated when it comes to working out because I don't like it. So, finding those things that'll hype you up, maybe that's a good thing that you could put out there for people to know. Nutrition apps, right? So things like Oops. So things like Fitbit, things like the Strong app. A lot of trainers will use personalized training plan apps. So there's stuff where you can like put together custom nutrition plans or custom training plans for people, but those apps are, you know, a good resource, a good thing for people to kind of look at so they know what to expect ahead of time. So you can put out content about that. You can put out how-to content. So be resourceful when it comes to like, when it comes to people that are first getting into this type of thing. Becoming a resource of like, how do I do some of the basic, some of the entry level things can be really helpful. So, right, so proper pull up, deadlifts, squats, etc. So you could put out video or blog content with pictures that explains, you know, how do you do some of that stuff. It'd be a great way to invite people in the door, see who you are, you know, give them some comfort with the fact that you're helping them with some info. So I really like that idea. A lot of people are curious about supplements. So, you know, what is the difference between whey and isolate and all those things? I think it's something that people are commonly curious about, and you know, you want to make sure that you're the one that's giving them the helpful information so they can know. There's a lot of shitty supplements, like a lot of sketchy brands out there on the market for it. So, you know, being a resource of what to watch out for, what's actually good, and why some of the things are good and for what they're good for, I think is really important stuff. Hacks and tips. So I think one thing that I'm obsessed with is 5-minute office workouts, right? Think about how many people are stuck in a workspace all day, sitting at a desk, getting cramped up, sitting in a chair. You know, giving people those exercises they could do while they're at their desk. I think a series of videos like that would be amazing. I really like that idea. Things to improve steps, right? People are always, you know, with their people obsessed with Fitbit now, it's like, how do I get my 10,000 steps? And it can be like simple stuff too, but you know, things like parking further away from the building and, you know, making a challenge of going up a certain amount of flights of stairs every day and stuff like that. People like that information. They like being guided on how to be healthier. Equipment alternatives, right? If you're working out at home, if people are working out at home and they're looking for, oh, I don't have dumbbells, I don't have this, I don't have that, you could, you know, you give them some household alternatives to workout gear. You know, lifting techniques, stretching. And the stretching thing can work for the office workout thing, right? Like how to not get stiff at your desk. Here's, you know, a 2-minute stretching sequence, and you could record a bunch of different things like that. And then things like how to determine how much weight to lift. This is like something actually I was quite curious about when I was kind of starting my process. It was like, you know, obviously with a personal trainer in front of you, they're going to assess you and determine it, but there's probably some key things if you're feeling pressure here, it's too much weight, or things like that you could, you know, be the source of information so that, you know, when they're thinking about actually signing up with someone, that, you know, you've been providing them value, you've been providing them with that information that's helpful. And then one that I was talking about with my trainer the other day, why you should not do static stretching before weights, right? A lot of people do, you know, yoga and then they go to work out, and apparently that's not great for you. So just like little things like injury prevention, you know, best practices, techniques, even just like shooting short workouts for people is super, super practical, right? Like if I'm at home and maybe I'm not in the, you know, mindset for a trainer right now, if you're providing me with like a whole bunch of different free, easy to do at home kind of workouts, the odds of me coming to you later, because you've been in my home, you've been in my device, I've seen your face a bunch, you have so much better of a chance of signing that business if you're kind of a trusted source for that. And that's where a lot of this content is kind of coming from. And then what you know about, right? So that could be stuff like nutrition. That could be stuff like myths. I think myths is actually a really, really big one. So like myths about sugar, myths about fats, just being an informational source for that type of stuff is really helpful. Favorite products. So that could be, you know, food, that could be supplements, that could be gym equipment, but here's what I like and why. And it doesn't have to be like they're endorsing you. It could just be, you know, day in the life. Here's the kettlebells that I like. Here's the brand of, you know, dumbbells. Like all those things are practical, helpful things that are easy pieces of content to put out. Right? Things about conditioning, stretching. Some of this is a bit overlapped. Because you can talk about the same topics in different ways, right? So, how to be disciplined, ability. My spelling's really bad. Accountability techniques. I think that's like discipline and that type of thing is really practical information for people. I think a lot of people struggle with. I started doing this, you know, for a couple days and then I just kind of fell off. So how do you actually stay on track? How do you, you know, keep yourself accountable or become accountable to someone else? You can provide information about that. We already kind of talked about stretches, so I'll just leave that one out. Anyway, that's some good topics. A lot of these ones can branch down into subtopics. You know, in the context of stretching, there's, you know, 50 stretches that you could talk about. So whether that's a blog post or a written post, like on social, or you make a little video about it that goes on YouTube and Instagram, you could do, you know, 50, 60, 70 just stretching ones alone. So this will give you a pretty good stream of content to play with for now. Anyway, if you're a personal trainer and you enjoyed this, hit us up. If we can ever do anything to help, hit us up. Have a good one.